TG Geeks, episode 402, October 31st, 2022. Happy Halloween on the seas. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of Geek-dom and Nerd-ery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre. You name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, wishing that, well, part of me wishing that I was still on the Disney Wonder somewhere sailing out on the ocean.
Oh my God, you said Wonder.
I know, I got it right this time.
For the first time in a week.
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
We'll talk about that. Well, let's just get on with it here.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, this time we are going to talk about
Our vacation
on the Disney
Wonder.
Yes. Disney Wonder, about just the wonderful things that we experienced.
Our first cruise, well, our first real vacation, just us, since the Great Pause.
Yes. And literally the great pause, because we were in New York City when
everything shut down.
Mm-hmm. The day before they shut the city down. And
yeah, we got out of there just in time.
And thank God we have not had COVID. So
I know. Knock on wood.
Exactly. Then we're going to have our birthday shout outs, our podcast of the week, everyone's favorite, and that is some feedback this week. Give our regular shout outs. In the second segment, we got a couple of things to talk about, and our wacky weekly recap, as well as our regular end of show shout out. So we are just going to get right to it. I think that's enough of that. Enough of the spooky music.
That's enough.
Is that enough of the spooky music?
Well, if you want to keep playing it, go right ahead. That just leaves less time to talk. Our listeners are going to think there's something wrong with their equipment.
No, it's not. It's me. There's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we just got back yesterday. As of this recording, we're recording on Saturday. We got back on Friday. We left on Monday on the Disney Wonder for a 5-day, 4-night cruise.
Well, actually, we left Phoenix last Friday.
Last Friday, exactly. Almost exactly to the very hour.
To the hour, almost, yeah.
that we came back yesterday. And the Disney Wonder, it was Halloween on the High Seas or something like that. Something like that, yeah. So it was truly an experience. This time, that's what I was trying to look up and make sure that, but Disney's
their website's being uncooperative.
Yes, the Disney Cruise Line website is broken today, as sometimes it gets that way. But that was our eighth
number 8
cruise.
Yeah,
and this time our travel agent talked us into doing concierge. So we are, I'm afraid, forever spoiled of ever doing a Disney cruise without concierge.
We're ruined.
It was truly
That was an amazing experience.
It was. Normal Disney cruises in general.
Those are great to begin with.
Are wonderful to begin with, and the fact that they're one of the top cruise lines in the industry. Mm-hmm. They command a pretty good price
for a reason.
But the ships are always clean. Mm-hmm. The staff is always friendly. Everything is always well maintained. There's good, good food. Although we'll talk about that in a minute in our dinner section that we have. And nothing bad.
Oh,
the food is always great. It's just,
but this time we had some extraordinarily good.
Some extraordinarily good food. But doing the concierge just bumps it up at a completely different level. I mean, wow.
So let's break it down then. In terms of arriving and all that.
Normally when you arrive, and this was out of San Diego, so it was just a little bit different.
A little, but I actually like the setup.
Yeah, it was not too
nice.
bad.
It was not confusing. Not like Miami.
Canaveral, oh God, Miami was a nightmare.
Vancouver's another crazy one, but Canaveral and San Diego, I think, were the two best experiences we've ever had.
Canaveral is Disney's terminal,
right.
Cruise ship terminal, period. They own, well, I don't know whether they own it, but they lease it. It's staffed by them.
They have their own wing
by them.
That's only for them.
Their own place that you drop your luggage, their own place that you drop people, and you can't miss them. You can't go into that gate unless you are on a Disney cruise. Unlike Miami, they have porters out there. Oh, I'll take your luggage.
And they've got like 4 or 5 ships that are docked there, taking on passengers at the same time.
Yeah.
So Miami is just a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just panicked until I saw our luggage arrive at our cabin.
Yeah. But San Diego has 2 slots for cruise ships. The Wonder was already there whenever we started to make our way to the port. And then as we were, we were sitting in the Concierge Lounge when the other ship cruised in.
I couldn't be certain on that. But
I think that was because I was talking to a lady in the...
anyway, thinking about, I don't recall seeing another ship when we arrived. So you're right.
So you normally arrive at the port, you drop your luggage off outside, you get into the port itself, you get in the queue, and they check your paperwork, any carry-on items. Usually they ask you to bring your drugs and, stuff that for the day, because you're not going to get your luggage till 2 or so.
And in the event that, God forbid, your luggage should get lost, at least you've got the most important elements with you. Like if you do have some prescription medication you have to take, it's nice to know that at least you've got that with you.
Yeah, and after you go through security, which it's standard TSA type, in fact, I think it is TSA that
certainly felt
they're
like
a little more relaxed than airports, but they are still, you run your baggage through the thing, you walk through a magnetometer.
The only different thing is you show your passport itself, the passport book.
Yep, and they've already checked to make sure that you are on the ship, prior to getting to security. You go and then you sit, or actually you go and you check in, and they usually do paperwork and they do, photos and of you and various other things that they do as a check-in. They've streamlined some of that online, and I don't know whether that's just for concierge guests, but I think that they've tried to minimize the amount of time people are standing at the check-in windows.
I kind of think that's just for everybody.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then you sit and you wait. You get a boarding group, and you sit and you wait.
Well, because they have to clean the ship.
And you wait.
Yeah.
And you wait.
Yeah.
Till your boarding group is called. Concierge. And then you get on the ship, and then from there, they direct... the interesting thing about going onto a Disney ship is they announce your names.
I love that.
And they have a line of cast members there.
And
they're saying, welcome,
when
thank
you walk in.
For coming back,
they
welcome back.
make you feel truly welcome on the ship. And being that Disney was our very first cruise ever, when we decided to sail on a completely different cruise line and not get that, I remember feeling highly disappointed. So this just became another indicator as to how Disney wants to make you feel special.
Exactly. Yeah, we have been on 8 cruise now. Let's see. After that, once you get on the ship, they usually direct you up to deck 10 to go to Cabanas, which is the big
like
buffet
a big buffet
in the back of the ship.
It's a good buffet.
It's a great buffet.
It's crowded as crazy,
God,
but the
they have
food,
everything.
I know,
it's a brunch thing.
And I seem to recall it's the same quality of brunch every day that you're there.
Yeah,
but when it's your first time on the ship, and it doesn't matter.
Oh my God!
Yeah, well, I remember the first time we sailed, I was just completely blown away by it. But I noticed that with every following cruise that we've done, every time we would step into Cabanas, I would be just thoroughly blown away by the quality and the quantity of the food there.
Yeah, they ask you to wash your hands before you come into a restaurant, and they have, oh my gosh, they got breakfast items, they got items for kids. If you have to do oatmeal, they have oatmeal, and they have, I think cream of wheat as well as cereals. They've got pancakes, they've got waffles, they've got bacon, sausage,
eggs Benedict, all sorts of
corned beef hash brown patties that I had to go down there one time.
One day had to get it
cruise because I wanted the hash brown.
The hash brown patty is pretty good.
And they've got eggs Benedict. They've got, oh my Lord, roast beef, turkey, chicken, all kinds of meats and cheeses, and salmon and all the fixings for salmon, etc. And it just is completely an experience on a Disney cruise.
Everybody needs to do that at least once.
Now,
what we did was different.
What we did was much different. We were able to, as concierge guests, we were able to check in and book items, activities, whether it's a spa treatment or a tour or a whatever.
Anything we needed.
Prior to anybody else on the ship.
We had, because when you're booking online, depending on your status, they will open up the website for people to make reservations for, say for example, any of the alcohol tastings.
Yeah.
But the higher the status, the sooner you are allowed to do that. Now, because we were concierge, we got first dibs.
Yep. So we did the wine country tour in Ensenada, and we scheduled a haircut and a shave for you, and a mani and pedi for me. And then I when we got on the ship, I did a shave and a haircut, a shave and a shave.
2 bits.
And then we also did the wine tasting. We did champagne tasting. We did cognac tasting, and we did a whiskey tasting. So all of those things we were able to book prior to anybody else, being able to book any of those activities. We had our online check-in was prior to anybody else checking in online. We, as concierge guests, we got in boarding group 1, and so that means we're the first on the ship, and we were actually
not quite the first. There's that one special family that they choose one family out of the bunch who get to go on first, and I think, and I could be wrong, but I think anybody who is doing a back-to-back cruise, because we've met people who've done that, where they book a cruise, it comes to an end, they have to leave the ship. They don't have to leave their they don't have to take their luggage. They can leave it in their cabin because they're going to get the same cabin back. But they have to get off the ship because it has to get a thorough cleaning. And I think they're allowed to get back on before group one.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, anyway.
I could be wrong on that, though.
We were the first...
non-return people.
Non-return,
however you want to call it.
Whatever.
Yeah, we pretty much
guests.
early group.
As well as you get on the ship. They do the same thing. They announce you. And then they have a special luncheon for concierge guests. Mm-hmm. And that was in Triton's Cafe. You could go to Cabanas if you wanted to. And they normally, and I'd said this before, that usually they did a luncheon and then a reception in the Concierge Lounge. This time they kind of combined it together. So all of the concierge staff made it around to all of the tables and said, we're here to help you. This is what we do. This is who I am. These are the others that are there. This is what you can expect. They gave us a list of all the things. They were open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the Concierge Lounge. And virtually every bit of that time, they have food out, additional food items. They've got a coffee machine, which is actually good. It's better than the coffee. As Andy would say, one of the concierge hosts, he said, you could go drink the brown water.
Yeah.
Or you can come to the lounge and drink the good coffee.
Yeah, because the free coffee that's available on deck is not that good.
It's brown water.
It's brown water.
Yeah. And then they have... They invite you up to the concierge lounge, and once the luncheon is over, and actually usually by that point your luggage is already delivered, and your luggage and your key to the world and everything you need is ready
already. Yeah.
Almost immediately.
And
you're
that is
the first to be sourced.
That is way earlier than it is for everybody else, because
it's usually 2 or 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it's about 2 o'clock where they actually open up the remaining floors for non-concierge guests to be able to go to their cabin and get unpacked and take care of all of that. By the time that happened, we were already done.
Yep. And then went to concierge, and from 5 to 10, I think they have free alcohol.
Yeah.
They had, food items out. They had coffee. They always have a refrigerator stocked with beverages, Coca-Cola products, waters, sparkling, still water. Your room comes stocked with water.
Yes, I like that.
So we didn't have to buy water this time. And it was a true... exciting experience. We were sitting in the lounge when we were taking off.
Yes.
And then it was just wonderful.
And what I also like is it's a nice place to get to just relax. Yes, some people bring their families, they're the little kids, but generally I thought the kids were all very well behaved, and it's not like being out in the public, and I've got to be very careful how I word that, because I don't want to sound, that I'm anti-kid.
We didn't have to mingle with the unwashed masses,
right?
No, it takes some of the madness of all the people on the ship away,
right? And it was quiet.
It was quiet,
which I liked.
Yeah, and I experienced some. Alcoholic beverages that I never had before, because I was unwilling to ever go to a bar and order something that I'm going to pay $30 or $40 for, and then say, "What is this crap? I don't like it."
Right.
There I could say, "Okay, could you fix me this?" And I could say, "Oh my God, what is this? I don't like it," and give it back to them, and it didn't cost me a dime. So I tried several things. I tried, a Campari and soda, which that's an acquired taste.
I got to try absinthe for the first time.
Absinthe
by itself. For the last time, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was curious.
Some other things, yeah.
I was curious. I'm not curious anymore.
And we spent most of our time in the concierge lounge.
Yeah.
We went and watched
aside
the
from
movie.
our cabin. Yeah, we did catch one movie
and we
on
took
Catalina
naps
Day.
regularly.
Well, considering the amount of food and drink we imbibed.
Oh, my Lord, I know.
So
in the concierge, there were a number of people. There's 7 people. And they just recently added a gratuity for the Concierge Lounge. And, it's a silly amount. I mean, it truly is.
It was.
I gave double what they suggested because those people literally bent over backwards to answer every question, to just went out of their way to make sure that you had what you wanted. And they did it with a smile and a genuine smile, and they wanted to help you.
They work 14 hours a day, every day.
Yep. And the concierge, the 3 concierge hosts were Andy, Mariella, and Angeline. And they were
amazing.
Andy is the one that came around to our table, and he became our friend. Immediately.
Well, I think he became everybody's friend.
Yes, of course, because
he's
Andy
just very gregarious.
He's so effervescent.
Yes.
All the time, just on. And then there was, as regular staff in the Concierge Lounge, there were Sheldon, Jose, Fermin, and Patrick. And Patrick was a wonderful bartender. Fermin did the foods and whatnot and the coffee, and Jose was there. He actually did the liquor cart that runs up and down the hallways of...
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so that's where he was a lot of the time, as well as in the background. And Sheldon actually was there kind of in the background as well, doing other things, preparing stuff. And I think he also did the liquor cart occasionally as well.
Okay.
So they were absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
Always there, always, whatever they were doing, they dropped it to talk to you.
And something that I really respect and admired out of them is they were able to go out of their way to make every person feel like they were the only ones who needed to be taken care of.
Exactly. And made everyone feel special. Yeah. It was just...
It was such a positive experience that as you said earlier, I can't see doing it any other way now.
I mean,
really can't.
Like, oh my God.
I know. Damn you, Teresa.
Ruined.
Damn you, Teresa.
Teresa Corey, our
travel agent
from Fairy Godmother Travel, has been trying for years to get us to do.
Pestering us, and we
pestered us to death.
We buckled under the pressure.
Yes. And then there was Lenora Claire.
Oh my God. So we need to back up. When we sailed on the Disney Magic in 2019 to Cozumel, just on a whim, we go into a bar called Keys, and there is this amazing pianist that we became immediate friends with. She was awesome.
We sat there, I mean, she was we were off to her side so she could see us. Now, in this setup where we sat, initially was kind of behind her.
Right.
But
she had her back
we sat in front of her, and we were able to chat with her. But we got to know her from Keys on the Magic, and now she's on the Wonder. And
I was hoping, we were both hoping that Disney kept her. And
that she was on the Wonder.
Because the Magic was the last cruise before the Great Pause. Not the final cruise, but it was our last
cruise before the pause.
Before the pandemic happened. And, of course, Disney shut down their entire cruise line. And I was kind of afraid that she might have lost her living playing piano on the ship. So when I saw that, there's a Lenore Claire, and I didn't remember her name.
Yeah. I thought it sounded familiar, and I thought it might be her, but then when we walked in, it's like, oh my God, she is.
That's her. And she remembered us.
Yes. And, she'd let us sing along. And I mean, we probably got more requests than any one other person in the lounge because we were always there.
Right.
That was the other place that we went, was in there. And she is great.
she truly was just wonderful. How she finds ways to engage with the people in the room.
Exactly. She even had a request that she went and looked up one day, the night and then the day, and downloaded it to her iPad and then came in with it in the evening. And she said, I'm going to sight read this thing. And oh my God, you couldn't tell that she hadn't played it before.
Yeah.
I mean, she's that good at sight reading. And she has one of those abilities to play something very straight, shall we say. And then she has this ability to add just little ornamentations here and there.
She can play with flourish if she wants to.
And she can also play a pretty good honky-tonk.
She can.
She's
very talented.
Yes, very, very talented.
But then we find out, like on the last night, she comes from a very musical family.
Yeah,
and she I'm guessing she had a professional career as a musician up in Canada, where she's from.
Yep. And then, so, now she's doing this, which is wonderful. I think she's delightful, just delightful.
And I could tell that she was enjoying herself based on how everybody was reacting towards her. So she's enjoying it. We enjoy it. I really hope that we get to see her again.
Yes. Now, there's one person that needs mention outside of where he actually works, and that's Danny. And he is actually the wine steward in Palo, but he did the champagne tasting on the first day and the wine tasting, I think it was the next day. And
I think so.
His knowledge of wines and whatnot, and
he's a sommelier.
The suggestion that he gave to us while we had dinner at Palo was wonderful. He came over to us and he sat and talked, or not sat, but
he stood next to our table.
Stood and talked with us for a bit. He showed me his setup, his wine cave.
Yeah, I didn't get to check that out. I really wanted to, though.
But he was really outstanding in the knowledge, and ask any question during the wine tasting or the champagne tasting, and they just he would answer your questions. So his knowledge is great. And then when we had brunch, we had brunch and dinner, not on the same day, at Palo, and we had Ricardo from Portugal as our server, who was just delightful. He was
fantastic.
He was so wonderful.
So attentive, so friendly that after we had brunch or had him wait on us for brunch, we were like insistent that he be our waiter for our dinner the next night.
Yes. And then Luca, the manager of Palo, who's been there forever.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on the Wonder forever.
We've seen him before.
We've seen him, the several times that we've sailed on the Wonder. But it was, that was an experience. The brunch, now they've changed things just a little bit. The brunch is still a fixed price, but you order off the menu. And they no longer have their big gigantic spread of cheeses and breads and
it was like a cheese and meat and bread buffet that you could pick from before you would get your main meal.
Olives and
right,
shrimp and blah blah blah.
You can still get that,
yeah,
but instead of you going to get that food, they will serve it to you.
Yeah, so it was really nice to have the brunch, and be able to be served. I like to sit down and be served sometimes, instead of having to do it yourself. And then dinner, they've changed the dinner. The dinner used to be fixed price only, and then you ordered whatever you wanted off of the menu. They had numerous entrees, like they still do. Now they have the fixed price with a limited menu, but you can also order off of the regular menu.
It's an a la carte section.
Yeah, and it's not as pricey as if you were to have gone out and had that at a restaurant.
True.
On land.
Yeah, the cost was surprisingly, I'm not going to say inexpensive, but not as bad as it could have been other places.
We probably had a $400 meal for $200.
Oh, I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did.
It was really great. Oh my gosh, everything we had was absolutely wonderful.
And the wines that Danny suggested both for our meal as well as our dessert.
Yeah.
Although you had...
I had the grappa, which I had tasted grappa before, and he said they had one grappa on the dessert menu, which was... and he came over and I said I was wanting to try grappa, and he said, I've got one in the back that you'd probably like, so I'll suggest that to Ricardo. And then you had it's a dessert wine.
I don't know what it is.
I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. It was a very complicated name that I've never heard of before.
An infusion of a Barolo wine, and it was actually quite nice.
It was really nice.
And you had the standard chocolate souffle.
Yeah, I had to have the chocolate souffle because it's so good. We have to talk about, and once again, to come back to the amazing service that Palo offers, we got a risotto.
Yes. I noticed that one of the entrees was served with a risotto, which I was fine having that risotto. Mm-hmm. And I asked Ricardo if I could have risotto as my side, and he said, let me check for you, and he did, and they made a wild mushroom risotto. Now, they have wild mushrooms on the menu, and they had that risotto, but the chef specifically made a wild mushroom risotto
for
us. And
wow.
he said, initially he said, I can't promise that you can get it, but I will ask. And he said, the next time you come in, if you ask, they may not have the time and they may not make it for you. And I said,
we understand.
I was perfectly, fine with them saying no.
I mean, the restaurant was, pretty much every table was occupied. So yes, they are busy in the kitchen. We completely understand. And yet we got this beautiful dish of this wild mushroom risotto, which was, holy cow.
It was really good.
That was amazing. I was completely blown away by the quality of it.
Yeah. And it was just wonderful. And then in the regular dining rooms, we had Getty and Astini as our servers.
Lovely people.
They were wonderful, just truly wonderful. I think that our gold key to the world said we were concierge guests.
Possibly.
So a lot of people bent over backwards, but they were great anyway. Whether we had been, I saw them interact with other guests, and they were as attentive and good to them as they were everybody else.
Getty likes to do, sleight of hand magic at people's tables.
Yes. And one of the tricks that he did was quite fascinating. But anyway, I figured out how he did it. Yes, I'll show it to you. Because they were doing it over at Erica's table for one of the kids.
I saw that.
And
you figured it out?
He showed how to do it. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. He's palmed a second dime, and you put it on the lip of the glass.
No.
And when you put the saucer on top of the glass, you put it on the rim of the glass, and it's anchored by the saucer.
You've got to nail that just right.
He palms the dime that he taps it with, and the other one falls in there.
Oh man!
Yep. Exactly.
He did that. That was a trick he did right at our table, and I stared at that and thought,
how the heck did he do that?
What devilish magic am I looking at here?
Yeah, it was. He takes a dime, and it's like he's pushing the dime through
the plate,
into the glass.
Oh, it's an amazing trick.
Anyway,
okay.
that's how it.
But it worked. It was very entertaining. And I love sleight of hand magic, and so he entertained me. What can I say?
And the 3 restaurants that we ate at we had Triton's for the brunch when we got on the ship, and then there was Tiana's Place first night, which the food was really good.
Yes.
And then the second night
we ate at Triton's,
which was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night we had Palo, and then the duplicate was Animator's Palette. So they ate at Animator's Palette that night, and then they duplicated. So we ate at Animator's Palette. The food at Triton was really good. Animator's Palette, the menu has not changed.
No. No,
since
not really.
the first time we sailed.
Yeah,
on
I will admit that was.
And there were a couple of things that it's like, oh, I forgot
never need
that's
to eat
how
that
they.
again.
I forgot that's how they serve that, and I took a bite and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, don't need to eat that again.
And then the server said, yeah, I know the menu hasn't changed in 25 years, so.
I really wish they would.
Yeah, they should change that.
Yeah,
I mean, but the food is good.
The food's nice.
The food is
but
good.
I'd like to try something different.
If you've not had it 8 times.
Right.
Yeah. So that was great. Greg was our stateroom host. He did a wonderful
delightful
job. And
in fact, when we got to our room, our luggage was not there. So he made a point of going to look for it. He went to find it and was back within 15 minutes. We were getting ready to go out and just explore the ship. And all of a sudden we get this knock on the door, and there he is. He brings our luggage. I mean, so I thought he was just delightful.
And for our anniversary, since I told them it was anniversary, they had 2 swans and a heart made out of towels, and the swans were made out of towels, and rose petals
all over the bed.
All over the bed. It was wonderful.
It was so beautiful. I was very touched by it.
Yeah. And we went into the shops, and most of the staff in the shops was very attentive and delightful. One he was from Africa or South Africa or somewhere.
Are you taking Fortunate?
Yeah.
Is his name? I think he's from Zimbabwe.
Yeah. And he recognized us, and he said
very
hello every
friendly.
time. And, then we went over into one of the others, and one of the Diamonds International folks kind of accosted us
a little
and continued to accost us. And I finally had to say, no, thank you, and turn and walk away. So.
Yeah, I just looked and says, we need to think about this. And then I just turned around and walked out.
So that was the only negative part, really, of the cruise. We had Marisol as my spa attendant for my manicure and pedicure, and I don't remember the gal's name.
I wish I could. She did both of our shaves.
She did. Oh my God, that was a religious experience.
I do want to point out that when we tried to, there was some kind of problem or some question as to whether our concierge rep, before we got on the cruise, could actually get us the reservations. There was some difficulties here and there.
Yeah, because I wanted them, instead of a haircut, I wanted to get a shave on my head and do the same thing that they would do for a shave on your face.
Right. But what I was going to say is, what I liked is the moment we got into the Concierge Lounge on the day we boarded the ship, there is a spa rep right there at a table, and we just went right to her and said, yeah, we'd like to schedule a couple of things for today.
And she said, I can do it right now.
And
we can do it today.
She had a laptop right there that was connected to their system, so she booked us exactly where we wanted, because we had the champagne tasting at 3.
Yep.
So we wanted to make sure that our spa treatments were afterwards.
Right to the spa after that.
She got us our reservations right there and then. And, once again, another lovely concierge perk. But yes, I got my traditional shave and a haircut
2 bits.
2 bits on sail day, which was great. Yep. I loved doing that on the day we sailed.
And then he sat out and read a book while I had my head shaved, and then she shaved my face, and then she did the facial on both my head and my face, which was a mask that she literally peeled off.
I had the same thing.
And it was...
My skin was so smooth.
It truly was a religious experience.
At a couple of points, I passed out. I fell asleep.
Yeah. And then, let's see, we had a couple of... the experience that we had, Palo Brunch and Dinner, and we didn't get off on Catalina Island.
No, we stepped on. Oh, there's Catalina. It's
hi.
Pretty. Okay,
yep.
let's go back into the ship.
But we did the adult wine country tour in Ensenada, which they load you on a bus, they take you up to 2 different wineries, and then they bring you back. And they have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But we went to Lacheto Winery, which is one of the largest wineries in Mexico that produces 90% of Mexican wines, and did tasting of 5, 6 different selections. I think it was 3 whites and 3 reds.
So I think
and 6. They had some cheese and bread and whatnot, and we wound up
buying wine.
Truly think I feel like we
robbed them.
Abused these people.
Yeah.
Because we bought 2 bottles of wine, 2 really nice bottles of wine.
Nice bottles of wine, yeah.
A large bottle of olive oil, a large bottle of balsamic vinegar, and a large jar
of olives.
For
how much?
For $36.
Isn't that ridiculous?
It was crazy. And then, we did the winery tour. He took us to the barrel room, and
I got some photos. I gotta get them online.
And
someday.
We were at the crusher, and then they went to the fermentation room where they, everything is into these vats, and then the sediment flows down, and they take the grapes and take them out, and then that's the fermentation tank, and then we have the barrel room, which was nice. I would like to have seen more. I would have liked to have gone back to the bottle room, but they were actually functioning and right in the middle of production. And
probably not.
I think it would have been a distraction, and we would have gotten in the way, but it was fascinating. And then we went on down the road to La Casa de Doña Lupe.
It's just
it's
a little family thing.
Family winery, and they're just now starting to introduce some newer technology. This was everything is handmade. I mean, they don't stomp the grapes, but they crush the grapes in a traditional manner, and they, separate them and do the fermentation and do the barreling and the bottling, all with, traditional equipment, and they're introducing some new stuff. I think probably the bottling is the first thing they probably introduced to make it easier to bottle.
Oh, absolutely.
Wine. But that was great, and we had some wonderful snacks there. We bought this coffee liqueur, very much like Bailey's, but it doesn't have that aftertaste that Bailey's has. This is just wonderful. And we sampled 4 different wines, and we bought a bottle of wine there.
I sampled 6.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. And then bought a couple of other things. They had on 3 different walls of this huge room, it was jams and jellies that they make of all different kinds.
It's quite the little enterprise they're going.
I was overwhelmed, so I didn't buy anything.
I know.
But it was wonderful. And then last but not least, and we're running out of time. Oh my God, we've talked for 40 minutes already.
I know. But as we are wont to do, every time we get on a Disney ship, we tend to make friends.
Yes. We made lots of new friends, talked and chatted with everybody that would listen to us,
especially if they were concierge.
Yeah. And we made friends with this group who was staying in the Royal Disney Suites.
Oh my God, that's the first time I've ever seen it.
And they took us up to that room.
They're the same floor as us, but just different section of the ship.
And it has a little kitchenette. It has 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
It has 2 bedrooms and a study that has a Murphy bed.
Yeah.
So it can be converted to a bedroom. So it's really 3 bedrooms. And then they have a little dining room with that seats like 10 people.
Yeah, and another one of those pop-up high-def televisions that just comes out of this wall. I mean, it just rises, and there it is. Wow.
And a veranda that is not to be believed.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge. So that was Chris and Erica Shea.
And we should. And how did we meet them?
Actually, we met them because we were sitting one row over from them waiting to
board the ship.
To board the ship in the concierge area. And Erica runs over and she said, "Where did you get those shirts?"
I was wearing the Sci-Fi dine-in shirts that I got from carouselofproducts.com. And because I saw those shirts and I thought they were absolutely fantastic, and she wanted to know, like, did you get them in the park? So where'd you get them? And I was like, well, this is, and I told her. And we became immediate friends at that point, and we kind of hung out a lot.
Yeah, we hung out with them. We did karaoke with them and some other stuff. I mean, it was just, we were constantly, they were always there. So it was kind of a neat thing. And then there were lots and lots of, they had a whole entourage. They had several other couples that were joining them.
Oh yeah, it was a big group.
Families, yeah.
It was a big group, So. But I will say this, they know how to really have a good time.
Yes, exactly.
In fact, Erica, that immediate group, the core group, I mean, they did more wardrobe changes than you would see at a Liberace show.
They did lots of costumes since it was a Halloween cruise. So,
I mean, every time we turn around, one is like, well, I got to go back to my room and change. I'm like, what now?
Yeah, and they dressed up as rides on
that was brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Chris came out. He had this makeshift track, a roller coaster track on him. He's holding a guitar. And it's like, okay, well, you're the rock and roller coaster from Disney Studios.
Exactly.
That's easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were amazing people. Yeah. I really dug them a lot.
Truly amazing. And that's it for our regular segment. Now we got to rush through the rest of the show.
We may not have time for we may have to bog off on the feedback this time.
Several other things.
Welcome, curious listeners. This is Jackson Stewart, director of Beyond the Gates. Continue listening to the Two Gay Geeks podcast if you dare.
Interesting. You should play him.
Yeah.
Because we were at WhoCon on Sunday in San Diego and ran into Jesse Merlin.
Yeah, who was
in Beyond the Gates.
Yep. So I thought it was perfect for
that was right. Yeah, because Jesse then was texting Jackson and says, "Oh, I love Ed and Keith." That was really cool.
Yeah. Well, here's a few selected birthdays for October 31st through November 6th, 2022. October 31st, Peter Jackson, director, among other things, the Lord of the Rings series of films. New Zealand is his home. Mm-hmm. And then we have Johannes Vermeer, Dutch painter whose output was a mere 34 paintings. He was ignored for almost 2 centuries before someone discovered his paintings, and now is widely regarded as one of the greatest painters of the Dutch Golden Age.
And I think I heard somewhere that a new Vermeer was recently unearthed, and it was proven to be a Vermeer.
Yes, and fascinating. So one that they had long suspected, but during the pandemic, they were able to take it down and prove that it truly was a Vermeer. And if you... The last Vermeer with
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce is a fabulous film.
Fantastic movie. Yep. You'll get a good education
about Vermeer.
About Vermeer.
Yep. November 1st, Robert Foxworth, Mr. Ubiquitous on everything. And you say, who is that? And it's Robert Foxworth. He does bit parts, character actor. He's everywhere.
And he was the husband of Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple and an out gay man. November 2nd, George Boole. George Boole is remembered for pioneering Boolean algebra, a tool used in digital computer circuits. More of a self-taught mathematician, Boole began teaching at 16 and later grew up to be a math professor at Queen's College in Cork. His work in differential equations and algebraic logic was groundbreaking at the time. Then we have Steve Ditko, writer and a comic artist. He is credited with co-creating popular Marvel comic superheroes like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Ditko is also credited with co-creating Captain Atom, a character that appears in DC Comics. Ditko received several awards, including many Alley Awards. In 1994, he was inducted into the Will Eisner Award Hall of Fame. November 3rd, Vincenzo Bellini, an Italian opera composer. Vincenzo Bellini was encouraged to study music by his organist father, best known for his operas such as The Sleepwalker,
I love that one.
Lucia de Lammermoor, and Norma.
I love The Sleepwalker. That one is so great. That just a great opera.
Yep. Bellini was named the Swan of Catania. His letters to his friend Francesco Florimo reveal Bellini was known for his womanizing ways, too. Very interesting. Jim Cummings, American voice actor. Since beginning his career in the 1980s, he has appeared in almost 400 roles.
Wow.
Cummings has frequently worked with the Walt Disney Company and Warner Brothers, including the official voice of Winnie the Pooh since 1988, Tigger since 1989, the Tasmanian Devil since 1991, and Pete since 1992. I don't know, Pete
the Dragon,
Pete,
maybe?
Is it? I don't know. Other notable roles include Fat Cat and Monterey Jack on Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the title character of Darkwing Duck, Mr. Robotnik on the Sonic and the Hedgehog animated series, Caw on the Jungle Cubs, and he was the Firefly in Princess and the Frog. Oh, shoot.
Oh, he was Raymond?
Raymond.
Oh, no
Yes.
kidding.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I love Raymond.
Yeah. November 4th, Walter Cronkite, TV journalist, named the most trusted man in America, is remembered for his 19-year association with CBS Evening News and his catchphrase, "And that's the way it was." His U.S. space program reports made him the only non-NASA person to receive the Ambassador of Exploration Award. Then we have Robert Mapplethorpe.
Oh, my.
Mapplethorpe. Best known for his black and white photographs, Robert Mapplethorpe, I can't say his name, chose homoerotic themes to express himself. His male nudes reflected the gay BDSM subculture of New York. His works also included flowers, still lifes, and portraits of celebrities. The gay photographer-artist actually contracted and died of AIDS in 89, I believe it was. November 5th, Tilda Swinton.
I adore her.
Oh, she is amazing. One of the most popular Scottish actresses of her generation, Tilda Swinton is known for portraying negative roles in both blockbusters and independent art house films. An Academy Award-winning actress, Tilda is also known for impressive fashion sense. She was named by The Guardian as one of the 50 best-dressed over 50 in 2013. She was in Doctor Strange as the
ancient one.
Oh, I was going to say the elder one.
No.
And she was also stole the show in The Dead Don't Die. Oh, my.
How many Scottish samurai morticians do you know?
Exactly. And if you haven't seen it, we've talked about it to death, but it's Halloween.
You have to see this movie.
You have to see this movie. The Dead
it's
Don't
a howl.
Die.
It's brilliant.
It is. It's a Halloween.
Yeah.
Natalie Schaefer, an American actress known for her role as Lovey Howell on the sitcom Gilligan's Island. She bequeathed between $1.5 and $2 million to the Lillian Booth Actors Home to renovate the hospital's outpatient wing, which was later renamed the Natalie Schaefer Wing in 1993. She had died in 91 at the age of 90.
Wow.
Yep. November 6th, Sally Field, acclaimed American actress, has won prestigious awards such as the Academy Awards and Emmy Awards. Apart from being a popular actress, Sally Field has also played an important role as an activist advocating for gay rights and women's rights. She's been part of the board of directors of an international women's NGO called Vital Voices Global Partnership. Her youngest son, Sam, is gay, and she is extremely supportive of the LGBTQ plus community.
She is awesome.
She is. Edsel Ford, son of the automobile magnate Henry Ford, served as the president of Ford Motor Company from 1919 to 1943, developed a modern model of cars, and established the Mercury line. He also introduced features such as hydraulic brakes. He was an art connoisseur 2. Now, my favorite car is named after him, the Edsel. They only produced that for 3 years, but I thought they were some of the most stylish. The 59, 58 and 59, the 60 was, they only produced a few cars that year, but they changed the whole design. But the 58 and 59 models were just incredible. And it may be a childhood thing because I was maybe 2 or 3 when we owned one. And that may have also been the car in the infamous gasoline drama.
Could have been.
After a rain, there was a mud puddle in front of our house, and the car was sitting there. And I took a can out there, and I was filling up the gas tank with my can of dirty water, and my mother comes screaming out of the screen door. What are you doing? That car, I don't think I ever saw it again after that.
Probably not.
And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast. Sorry, Gene, we're going to run over an hour.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to Comcast NBC Universal for that promo. We kind of skipped our feedback section, but if you want to comment, you can go to tggeeks.com, Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and leave us a comment there. We'll catch up with those comments and another episode. We also want to give a shout out to independent creators, filmmakers, comic book artists. We did that at the WhoCon that we went to. We had cash for folks that the independent creators. We try to buy something from most of the dealers if it's a small con, and we certainly did. We spent a bunch of money there, but that was okay. So independent creators, support them. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
That's a quick intro. We just saw Mark Biaggi at the
at WhoCon.
At WhoCon, and enjoyed that. Real quick,
I gotta say this: season 4 for The Witcher. This news just broke today, and that is Henry Cavill's not coming back to play Geralt. It's going to be Liam Hemsworth. He's taking the part now. There is no word as to why Henry Cavill is stepping down from that. I've got the story here.
Probably because he's going to be involved in DC.
That's
movies.
true. We
Yeah.
know that his role as Superman is coming back, and who knows if he also gets picked up as James Bond, and everybody's hoping that'll be the case. Then his schedule's going to get
make a fabulous. James
he'd
Bond.
be the best James Bond ever.
Yeah.
So, but he's stepping down anyway. I'll have the link for this article in our show notes at TG Geeks episode number 402 at tggeeks.com. And it's time for our weekly review. These are items that were around on our website this past week at tggeeks.com this past week. And the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode, number 402 at tggeeks.com. Starting with Sunday, October 23rd, Nerdy Chupacabras number 123.
And that's at tggeeks.com.
tggeeks.com, yes. On Monday the 24th, TG Geeks episode number 401, as well as Fanbase Press announces LGBTQ plus young adult romance graphic novel 4 Color Heroes with a Teoreo Maori translation. Thank you, Fanbase Press. On Tuesday the 25th, Jeannie Koch reviews The Nightmare Before Christmas. On Wednesday the 26th, Ben's Breakdown, Out of Body delivers fun and ghostly goodness for Halloween. And yes, some of these are republished items because we were gone for a week. On Thursday the 27th, Sammy's Haunted Podcast by This Got Made, episode 1 and 2, repost for 2022. On Friday the 28th, Hamish Downey's new Sushi number 134, Morsels of News from Japan and Beyond.
For Halloween.
For Halloween, duh. And for Saturday, excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. On Saturday the 29th, A Tricky Treat, a short film by Patricia Chica.
I would encourage everybody to go to our website, click on that article, and watch A Tricky Treat.
It needs to be seen.
It's about 4 minutes. It's not scary. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else we got? There.
Some shout-outs we need to make. First to Brian Weber, our good friend Arkle. He's on Twitter as the Geek of All Trades. You find that by searching for Geek at Geek of All Trades. The letter G, the number 3, K of All Trades. He's referred to there as Arklevania65000. He has his Arkle Times Post Dispatch. News is back. And he republishes our content from time to time. Also, go to his YouTube channel. That'd be youtube.com/Arkle Studios for the plethora of projects that he has there. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to the moderators for saying we could share away our content there. And their address is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. That's all one word. And then to The Gay Geek for the same thing. And their address is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Other places we are found, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as whether other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays for a replay. Listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Live and be your authentic self, no matter what the world tells you. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.